about Dad's boring story from Liberia?
Yeah, he got diarrhea. That wasn't really a boring story. That was funny. Like, he had to poo at the side of the main road of the Liberia.
Yeah, he got the medication right immediately. Yeah, he's so lucky, by the way.
Yeah, I was afraid that he was far away from home, like thousands of kilometers away, right?
Yeah, but I think that's the fun part, right? You go to another place and then just unexpected events just unfold in front of you and then you have to deal with it.
Yeah, that happens.
Hampir 15 tahun terakhir ini, gerakan sustainability dan HAM dalam produk-produk yang terintegrasi dengan pasar internasional itu begitu masif. Dan terjadilah perkembangan lahirnya standar-standar sustainability dan HAM untuk produk ini. Para pihak yang ada di dalam lingkaran industri ini sudah saling berinteraksi dan banyak hal yang sudah dilakukan, tetapi ada tantangan tentang social license to operate. Tidak ada hubungan langsung antara masyarakat dengan pihak korporat ini dalam memastikan keabsahan, ya, kesahihan dari standar-standar sustainability dan human right yang ada.
Frameworks and commitments that companies have made, right? There's capacity gap. When communities are in rural areas sort of ready and able to document, it looks a little bit different than what is easily digestible from the corporate side or even from the government side. Community-based monitoring is an approach to collect information that sort of fits into both those categories, and in which case you can identify gaps and opportunities to address conflict.
Dad and his friends from ASM Law Office visited Liberia to promote community-based monitoring on food security and livelihood. They call it CBM, I think. Do you know what CBM is?
I don't even know what CBM is. I don't even bother looking.
Same, actually. I didn't know anything until Dad mentioned it.
Generation gap stuff.
Might be it, but like that's no excuse to be ignored now, is it?
Yeah.
What I'm getting is that CBM is useful for tracing into which extent has the community's right to food and livelihood around the company been fulfilled. So a company operating in the community's area must be responsible and also respect community rights to food and livelihoods.
You remember all that? That's some effort.
Of course I do. I didn't learn all of this stuff for nothing.
Masyarakat memiliki kebutuhan sebuah media untuk penyelesaian langsung masalah-masalah di lapangan. CBM adalah tools untuk mendiskusikan apa yang mereka alami di lapangan dengan perusahaan yang langsung beroperasi di tempat mereka. Sementara untuk perusahaan, CBM ini adalah alat untuk mengefektifkan standar keluhan mereka. Meskipun mereka sudah membangun ada sistem standar komplain, tapi itu cenderung tidak efektif di lapangan dan tidak terjangkau oleh masyarakat. Dan pada tingkat tertentu, konsumen sendiri itu akan dapat men-tracking kesahihan tingkat sustainability dari produk ini.
You know, sensitive issues that cannot be negotiated.
Yeah.
If you start by talking about land rights, who owns the land? This is very sensitive, and it's difficult to get the people around the table to discuss sensitive issues, right? So you don't directly address land ownership, but you address right to food. This is not debatable, right? Right to food is for everyone. Company cannot say, oh, this is not my responsibility. They have to discuss about right to food because this is survival of people, right? So you use this as entry point, right to food, right to livelihood, and you find solutions which have impact on the use of the land. Because if you want to fulfill right to food, you need land to produce food.
A community member tells you, I am hungry, I don't have food to eat. You just have to understand that he is hungry. He doesn't need to provide evidence that he's hungry.
Well, I got you now, but I'm still unclear about human rights. Do you mind explaining?
So, in short, in like the very simplified term, his basic rights, and you and all of us were born with, including me too. I was born with basic human rights. You were born with also human rights. Everyone else is born with it.
Yeah, Dad did mention about that human right thingy and fundamental rights for all people, regardless of their status and other things that they stand for.
So yeah, it's really inclusive.
Yeah, we have the same rights as other human being, I see.
Human rights are protected and supported by states and international and also national treaties.
Well, yes, naturally, that should be the norm.
So in this context that we are discussing right now, human rights include the right to food and livelihood, right?
I can see that.
So, and for this reason, that an ASM law office, with the support of the Right and Resources Group, developed a monitoring tool called CBM. They're trying to make this tool able to settle the interests of companies operating in the vicinity of community settlements and the community itself.
You remember all that?
Yeah. The goal is for companies to develop inclusive businesses by involving communities around their authorization.
I wonder what is an inclusive business is.
It's a business that must provide value to society.
Can you elaborate on providing values?
So this company has a business, right? So the company doesn't only take advantage of the business itself, but it should also provide a positive impact and value for the surrounding community.
This exchange began in 2019, and Sophie, myself, colleagues from FPP, and Aman in Indonesia organized an exchange of community-based monitors to be hosted by an indigenous community in Indonesia.
The civil society open working group that SESDEV is a member of, and other civil society groups in Liberia, we have come together with our counterparts from Indonesia, the ASM Law Office, to share experience, learn from them on community-based monitoring, develop strategies on how we can build the capacity of communities to be able to monitor impacts that they are having with oil palm development on their land. The issues we have heard from our Indonesian counterparts are the same issues we have in Liberia, except that in Indonesia they have gone through some stages, like they've been like 30 years ahead of us. Where we are now as Liberia in the oil palm sector, they have been there before. So they have a lot of issues, a lot of experiences to share with us, so that we can cut that process short to be able to reach where they are without going through necessarily all the problems, all the issues, all the conflicts that they have to deal with before reaching this point.
So they develop CBM so the parties can discuss their respective interests at one table on the same level.
But why the global exchange and the long journey to Liberia? Can't they just do it here?
So about that, we only have one Earth, right? Like
Yeah.
we all live in this one and only Earth. So we need to build harmony among other citizens. It's a natural thing, right?
Yeah.
It brings us to a common understanding that global actors, including the youth and the women, needs to come together, exchange views, and explore fresh ideas.
Ah, excellent. I love that.
So I heard from people that we as Gen Z sometimes don't really realize that we're moving really fast, right? Like especially like technology. For example, you see this one phone coming last month and then next month there's already another version of that phone upgraded, right?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that one. We might not even understand where we would see ourselves in the future, but I'm sure that one day we will become the world leaders.
Yeah, that sounds good. You got the message.
Yeah. So, as global leaders, we naturally require to contribute a better and more sustainable life.
Yeah, we also need to remember that God is the one deciding our future. It is, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. We need to start acting now. Is actually our homework.
Yeah, and with that, we're starting to understand what's going on around us, right?
Definitely, it doesn't matter where you are. Like, we might be here in Indonesia while our friends are scattered around the globe, and like one of my friend now is in the USA, Alabama.
Oh, really? I have one from the Philippines too.
Ah,
Because we live in today's world.
yeah. So let's connect and support each other for a more sustainable Earth.